All right, what's up? Welcome, everybody, to the Ron Harris Muscle Channel. It's me, Ron Harris. It's Sunday. Haven't gone live in a while. Before we get started, I want to remind you, please, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. If you like the video, like it, share it on your social media platforms, ring that notification bell so you know when we have new video content coming out on this channel. And let's get right into it, guys. I did get a couple questions ahead of time. I used to call this Ask Ron, but now I'm going to try Sunday Muscle Chat because Ask Ron. So this came via Facebook. Gentleman named Pete Pingle asked, do you ever see a long reigning Mr. Olympia champion like Lee Haney or Ronnie Coleman, who each won 8 times, happening again? We've had 6 winners in the last 7 years. So let's recap. Look at that. 2017, Phil Heath. 2018, Sean Roden, rest in peace. 2019, Brandon Curry. 2020 and 2021, the first 2 COVID years, the major COVID years. Big Rami. 2022, all the way from Iran, Hadi Chupan. And our reigning champ, Derek Lunsford. We have had a lot of title changing. The title has changed hands many, many times. More, I don't think it ever changed hands that many times. The last period I can recall where it did that was maybe late 80s into the early 80s. Let's see. So 70, 70, 78, 79. 79 was Frank Zane. 80 was Arnold. 81 was Franco Colombo. 82 was Chris Dickerson. 83 was Samir Bannout. Wow. And 84 was Lee Haney, who would go on to win it many times. So that was 6 winners in 6 years. We had a different Mr. Olympia champ every year for 6 years in a row back in the late 70s, early 80s. So do I see somebody coming along and holding on to the title for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years to break the record? I don't know if we're ever going to see the record of 8 Olympias beaten. I do think we're going to see a multi Mr. Olympia champ, someone who'll hold on to it longer than 2 years. The best anyone's done in the recent era is Big Rami, holding on 2 years. Everyone else has been a one and done. It's gone hands. And this year, either Derek Lunsford's going to win it again and get 2 in a row, or Hadi Chupan's going to get it back. He'll do what Jay Cutler is so far the only Mr. Olympia champ in history to have done, which was to lose the Mr. Olympia title, which he did in 2008 to Dexter Jackson. Then he came back in 2009. He got it back. Since then, and that was 2009, so we're talking 15 years ago. We haven't seen anybody do that since. So if Hadi Chupan manages to do that, that'd be something. So who do I see possibly doing that? Let's take a look at the 2 guys. So this was a video that wasn't video. It's still photos, but I think it's going to be one of these 2 guys. I think it's going to be either Samson Dauda or Andrew Jacked. And why do I say that? Because each of them has something unique in terms of the height and the width over all the other front runners. Because Derek and Hadi and even Nick Walker, they're all shorter guys, very, very thick, but they're shorter. They don't have the best aesthetics. And I say that not that they have bad shape, but it's hard for someone who's that short and has that much muscle packed onto their frame to really have that shape and that flow and the beautiful aesthetics to a physique. We see that with these taller guys like Samson and Andrew. Now, they do need to fill out. Samson's all filled out. I don't think Samson needs to get any bigger. I do think Andrew still needs a little bit more overall mass, particularly in the hamstrings and in the back. He's not 100% where he needs to be. He's so close. Samson, I think, has all the size he needs, and he's brought up his back, which he needed to do, but I don't see the condition yet. If we see that condition from Samson this year that we've never seen before, and guys, don't think that can't happen. I don't count anybody out, especially when it's something that comes down to something like a body part that can be brought up, or condition is an easy fix. I don't say easy because I'm not saying it's easy to get super shredded and dry and grainy. No, but it's not like there's a genetic limitation on a body part. Like if someone has really high lats, they're never going to have the greatest back. If someone has really high calves, they're never going to have great calves. That's a genetic thing. That's muscle belly attachments. But when we're talking about condition, I think Samson does have the potential. Will we ever see that? I don't know. I'd love to see it because that's the missing puzzle piece for Samson. As far as Andrew, it's really just a matter of him filling out a little bit more. His shape is so unique. So I think one of these two guys, both of them actually have the potential to be a multi-Mr. Olympia champion because they are so different from the rest of the field. The shorter, thicker guys like Hadi, Derek, Nick Walker, they're kind of similar. I don't see any of them being dominant because Derek and Hadi, we've already seen it's very close when they're both on their A game, which they always are on their A game. Sometimes they're just, that little extra percent condition or a little extra or a little less. We see one of them beat the other one, but they can both beat each other on any given day. And I have no idea who's going to win this year. I don't know if Derek's going to keep the title or Hadi will get it back. I give 50-50 odds on either one of those scenarios. But I do think it's going to be one of these two guys. I think it's going to be Samson or Andrew, maybe not this year. I still think either Hadi's going to get his title back this year or Derek's going to retain his title. He's going to win again. But I do see in the future, I do see Samson and Andrew because they are this new breed of taller, wider guys. And that's something that really stands out. You can't take your eyes off somebody like that when they have all the muscle mass they need, all the body parts have been developed, and the conditions there. It's just a spectacular package. Get into some more stuff. Get into your questions soon, guys. Let's take that away. I get this question all the time, so I thought I'd address it. What the heck? I have no problem being transparent. What was your most extreme AAS cycle? It was back in 2002, 22 years ago. And for those people who say everybody's on grams and grams, well, this was a pretty crazy cycle for me, and I didn't feel physically great on it. I was on, so this was in these pictures, like that are in the, I'll show you, pictures that are in the thumbnail. So let me see if I can share it. I'll share that real quick for you. Yeah. So share screen. So this was the 2002 New England. I used it for the thumbnail for the Instagram post and all this. What was I on here? This was what I was on. A gram of test a week. I never did more than a gram. Most of my cycles when I was juicing hard were 750, like 250 tests 3 times a week, like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. For me, that was plenty. For this show, I pushed it hard. This was the way my cycle looked probably toward the last 6 weeks. I think I took the test out at 2 weeks out or something. And the trend, that's a very high. Do not try this at home. I didn't need 750 milligrams of tren. I was getting it very cheap from a very reliable source at the time. So some guy was giving it to me, to be honest, a local manufacturer. 750 milligrams a week. Nobody needs that much tren. I certainly didn't. Side effects. The one thing I do remember is the last few weeks of prep for this show that you're looking at the picture of there, I was barely sleeping. I couldn't stay asleep for more than an hour, and then my eyes would just pop open. I'd stare at the ceiling for an hour. I'd end up, I belonged to a 24-hour gym at the time. I would head down to the gym at like 4 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. I would just do an hour or 45 minutes or an hour on the elliptical, like running my ass off, 300 steps or revolutions per minute. So yeah, that was way too much test. Well, I mean, that's reasonable. A gram of test, it's the very high end. I wouldn't personally see any benefit going higher, but I know you hear about people doing 2 to 3 grams of just test. A lot of tren. I don't think I would ever do more than 500 max at the very most if I was really just being reckless and pushing for my best possible look on stage. Winstrol, I was doing 250 milligram tabs, so 100 milligrams of oral Winstrol a day. Every day. And I remember getting blood work done after this, and the doctor thought I was in liver failure because my liver enzymes were so high. Equipoise was at 400. Interesting that I didn't go you'd think I would have gone higher on the EQ. Clomid, that was my half-ass. I think there were aromatase inhibitors because I was ignorant. I didn't have a coach. So that was what I was using as an insurance policy against against gyno. That's what I was worried about. And this was my fat burner. I wasn't on insulin, wasn't on growth hormone. This is everything I was using. So Heat Miser was a bootleg thermogenic drug. It was T3 clenbuterol, and it didn't finish here. It was yohimbine HCl was also in it. It came in a little tiny bottle that you had to mix into a certain amount of mouthwash, and then you would draw out like a milliliter of mouthwash to get the 28 mil or whatever it was. So that was my craziest cycle. Yeah, let's see if you guys have anything. All right, let's see what you guys got for questions so far. Interesting lineup. Shorties. Go Shorty. Shorties. Derek Hottie, Walker Tall. Samson Andrews based on stage versus thickness posing. Hunter, bigger body. Yeah, Hunter he's not a short guy. I wouldn't say he's tall, but he's taller than most of these guys. He's 5'10". I give him a legit 5'10". Maybe he's a little under. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. He's definitely taller than me, but that's not saying much. Hunter, I'm not writing off Hunter. People think because I'm not mentioning Hunter very often in these conversations about the top 5. I need to see what he's done with his physique since last year. I want to see how he looks in Italy in a couple weeks, and based on that, I will give my honest prediction of where I think he's going to end up at the Olympia. Right now, I don't go by gym progress pictures and stuff like that because the lighting is. These guys are usually all pumped up in the gym, and it's a sweet spot in the gym with the greatest lighting, and it's hard to say. Hi, Ron. What's up, Mark? I wonder if Samson can ever come in with paper-thin skin. His skin looks genetically thick to me. I don't know. I mean, I've kind of said the same thing, seal skin, thick skin about Akim Williams. Yeah, some people do have thicker skin. I think Brandon Curry would be another example of someone who has thicker skin. Some people have just super thin skin. I think Dorian had really thin skin. The late Andreas Munzer. It's a real thing. Not everyone has the same skin consistency, texture, whatever, skin quality. Some people do have thicker and thinner skin. It's a real thing. And, obviously sun exposure can thicken your skin over years. So technically people who didn't get a lot of sun and sun damage on their skin, they would have thinner skin, I guess. Let's see. Scott says, I'll take this Facebook thing away. Let's put something else there. Our next topic. Ooh, I can't. I want to move. Okay, that'll be our next topic, guys. Hardness from head to toe. Many variables getting growing to show weight. Okay, so this is a question from Scott. I think hardness from head to toe. Many variables getting growing to show weight beyond coming down weight. Yeah, there's just so many. Condition has so many factors. Skin thickness is something I don't think it's discussed very often because you just don't think about it. But it is a factor in conditioning. People with thinner skin, they're going to show more muscle detail than people who don't. I mean, vascularity is a very genetic thing. Some people have larger veins, capillaries, and all that are close to the surface of the skin, while other people they're smaller and they're a little deeper down under the skin, so they're not as evident. Let's see, Alberto Montejo, with the use of AI technology, medicine, pharmaceuticals, sky's the limit. Yeah, well, we're going to see a lot of progress. I don't know if you want to call it. We're going to see science changing sports, but it'll change bodybuilding. If you think about how much it's changed, I mean, when I say my lifetime, I'm turning 55 in a few weeks, so my lifetime is more than half a century. But the pharmaceutical side of it has come so far. I was born in 1969. Back then, I believe all there was Dianabol, obviously. There was testosterone, injectable testosterone, and I think there was Deca. In the late 60s, I don't think they had anything else. I think there was a very, very limited. I don't know if Anavar had even been invented yet. It was a very, very limited menu those guys had. Think about everything, all the steroids we have today, the different steroids, all the different peptides, things like IGF-1. Growth hormone wasn't around in the late 60s. Obviously, insulin was around, but bodybuilders weren't using insulin in the late 60s. So the pharmaceutical side of bodybuilding has changed greatly, and now we have so much more technology available to develop new medicines, new anything based that can change the human body. And I think some of the things that bodybuilders will discover that'll help their physiques are probably being used or will be developed for some other purpose. For instance, Cialis, I think it was developed for blood pressure. They figured out it was great for erections and blood flow in erections. And then bodybuilders figured out we could also take a low dose of this every day, Cialis or Viagra. Cialis is better for something that's give you steady levels, for better pumps in the gym. But I think there will be drugs that bodybuilders will stumble on that were created or developed for other purposes that will enhance physiques. I don't know how much crazier physiques can get than they are now. When I say better, because you probably get bigger, but it doesn't mean better. I mean, anything that's bigger, but it's going to ruin aesthetics. We could see guys who were 350 pounds ripped, I think potentially, if they didn't care about their health and they didn't care about blowing out their guts, getting these monstrous bubble guts. Oh, you're welcome for saying cool. This Olympia is going to be the tall man versus short man. Samson, Andrew, Rafi. Yeah, Rafi's taller guy. He's up 5'11". Akim's taller guy versus Hottie, Derek, Nick, Brandon. Yeah, it almost makes you think maybe we could have a short class and a tall class like we used to. Maybe, but we're not. They're not going to do that. I mean, that's what the lightweight division was, but do keep in mind for a good stretch of time in the 70s, the Olympia had height classes. I'd like to show you guys. that. I'm going to show you the Olympia because I don't think everyone realizes the Olympia's gone through some stages. So I want to show you the results of the Olympia from different years. This is a website called musclememory.com. It's got a lot of contest results on it. Okay, so stop that screen. I'm going to show you musclememory.com. You guys are enjoying this. We're just having a great time on a Sunday. So this is the Olympia. 65 was only 3 people. That was the first Olympia. That's why we're having the 60th anniversary this year. 66. Wow, 4 people. Amazing. 67, 4 people again. Sergio wins. 68. Sergio's the only guy who shows up. Nobody showed up to compete against Sergio in 1968, so he wins without beating anybody. 1969, Arnold shows up, but Sergio still wins. 2 guys in the Olympia that year. 1970, 3 guys. Arnold, Sergio, Reg Lewis. So you can see how far the Mr. Olympia has come, how it was kind of a lame-ass contest for a long time in terms of, it wasn't very competitive. 1971, nobody shows up to compete against Arnold, and Arnold wins. How lame is that? 72. Okay, now we got 6 guys. This contest is getting bigger, finally, a little bit bigger. Arnold, Sergio, Sergio Bray, Frank Zane, Frank Colombo. And this was before, I think at this point, they're starting to think maybe we should have a lightweight class or a shorter class. That was 72. And 73, 3 guys show up, Arnold, Franco, and Sergio Bray. 74, now we see a heavyweight and a lightweight. Arnold, Lou Ferrigno, and Sergio Bray, who were the same top 3 in pumping iron, except in pumping iron 75, you'll see Serge beat Lou. Lightweight division was Franco Colombo and Frank Zane, and then they would have an overall comparison and pose down with the heavyweight guy, and it was Arnold, and Arnold always won back in those days. 75 was the year of pumping iron. Again, there's heavyweight and lightweight. Arnold was the heavyweight winner. Franco was the lightweight winner. They were compared at the end of the night, and Arnold won again. Amazing. I'm not going to keep going too far, guys. 76. This time, the lightweight guy won because it was Franco Colombo. And he only had to beat Ken Waller. Ken Waller had beat Mike Katz to get the heavyweight division. And Frank Zane, the runner-up, he would end up winning for a while. 77, he started. So this is odd. Look at that. This is crazy. Look at that. So they did heavyweight class, which Robbie Robinson won, a lightweight class, which Frank Zane won. And then it looks like they did an overall scoring or something. I don't know how they did this. They combined everything and they got a top 8 in the overall Olympia among all of them. And Frank Zane emerged victorious. Very confusing time, very confusing period for the Mr. Olympia, it looks like. 78, it happened again. Robbie won the heavyweights. Frank Zane won the lightweights. And you have a top 9 overall ranking here in the Mr. Olympia with Frank Zane winning, Robbie getting second, Roy Callender, who was a heavyweight, getting third, Bory, who was a lightweight, getting fourth. I think a lightweight was under 200 pounds. I think it was just under and over 200 pounds. Kalman Skalak, fifth place, who had been a heavyweight. Danny Padilla, obviously a lightweight. Ed Corney, a lightweight. Tony Emmett from Great Britain. I didn't realize he was a lightweight. I thought he was a bigger guy. And Dennis Chinorino, who was like 6'1" or something. Of course, he was a heavyweight. All right, I think that's enough. Enough of those guys. Bueno. Which country do you think is a reliable source to get drugs off the counter apart from Mexico? Reliable. Well, they're legal. The countries where they're legal, which we did an Ask Dr. T last week. And the countries where it was legal were Bahamas. I'll try to remember them all off the top of my head. Bahamas, Dominican Republic. I think it was Costa Rica. I think. Or was it Colombia? It was Costa. I think it was Costa Rica. It was Costa Rica. And then on the other side, you had Greece, which only has like 2 steroids you can buy. Dr. T's talked about that many times. Greece. Was it Egypt? Thailand was one. Korea was one. But I mean, it's kind of pointless because you'd still have to get them back to your country somehow. So if you're an American, you go to Thailand to buy a bunch of steroids and you need to ship them back, they have to go through U.S. Customs. Everything that's shipped into the United States goes through U.S. Customs. And it used to be a lot easier to get things through. I had ordered from back in the late 90s. No, I'm sorry. Early 2000s. I had ordered a few times from a website in the UK, a guy in the UK that was selling them. And I got, I think, 2 or 3 packages, no problem. And this was shortly after 9/11 when they really started getting stricter on that. And the 3rd or 4th package that I ordered, I got a customs letter saying, hey, come on down to customs and get your package. And no, not coming down. So I ate it was like $700 or $800 I lost on that. Saudi Arabia. I don't think Saudi Arabia is one of them. I don't think it is. Geez, now you're going to make me go to YouTube and find it. I'll find it for you. Because I Googled it. Maybe Google is not always right. You never know. Well, let's see. So videos. Okay. Shut the volume off. I'll go to the video so I can give you what I said in that video. Okay, so, all right, so I'm going to share the screen with you. I Googled it and looked at a couple different places, and these were the countries that came up. Colombia, Bahamas, Egypt, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Hong Kong, Poland, Puerto Rico, Thailand, Greece, India, Korea. So those were countries where you did not need a prescription. Some people have been telling me they get it in Mexico, but Mexico is not a very law-abiding place. I think it's money rules Mexico. The drug cartels rule Mexico. I think if you walk into a pharmacy and you have cash, regardless if you have a prescription, I suspect a lot of pharmacies would just let you walk out of there with whatever you want. So these are the countries where it's over the counter, it's legal. So theoretically, you could get whatever the hell you wanted there. I don't know. But again, you'd have to figure out a way to get it back in the U.S. You have to ship it to yourself or to somebody, and you're taking a chance. Okay. Andrew, Simpson, Derek, Hottie, Nick. What's your order for these guys in top 5? Goku, thanks. If everyone's in crazy phenomenal shape, Derek and Hottie, I have no idea which way to go with those. Even last year, up until Bob Ciccarello calling out, he didn't say new because Hottie, he did say new. It was his first. Your new Mr. Olympia was Derek Lunsford. I had no idea if it was going to be Derek or Hottie. They're so close. They each have things. I think Hottie beats him from the front. I think Derek beats Hottie from the back. They each have some poses that they beat the other guy on. They're very close. So I think it's going to be either Derek or Hottie in first. I think Andrew, if he comes in sharper, which I believe he will, he has an excellent chance of coming in third and getting past Samson. Could be Samson in third. Samson, Nick. Oh, boy. Man, I don't want to answer this question until they're all up on stage. It's impossible. Hunter's 5'9". Yeah, it's all the same from down here, man. Yeah, 5'9" sounds about right. I think he is 5'9", which is average U.S. male height. Andrew with a bit of condition is Mr. Olympia. I still think Balder, I still think he needs a little bit more hamstrings, a little bit more back, a little bit more. Let's put him up on screen. Let's put him on screen. What the heck? This isn't the greatest resolution, this footage. Was this the one? Was this the one that I got in trouble because it wasn't the right show? Because he wears green and red trunks all the time. Yeah, I mean, look at that beautiful shape. I just pulled this up because the resolution is so much better on the picture than that video. What a crazy physique Andrew has. Just it doesn't look like anybody else. I say that all the time because it's true. Let's go to his put his routine up again. Oop. All right, so yeah, Andrew is pretty amazing. Intravenous insulin before training, happy slave. So intravenous to me sounds like you want to hook up an IV with insulin, which I think you just meant should you inject insulin before training? I'm not going to tell you to do that. Of course, I'm not going to tell you to do that. That would be off-label use of insulin, but a lot of bodybuilders will take insulin after they've eaten something like a muffin or jelly beans or pie filling, something that's just a bunch of pure sugar. Skittles, I don't know. Stuff like that. They will do that so that it'll shuttle a lot more glucose into the muscles, glycogen. They'll get the crazy pumps. The doses vary. I'm not going to give out doses because I'm not that guy. But yeah, people do inject insulin before training. Some do it after training as well. Just a note of caution: if you decide to do that, you got to be very careful that you always have fast-acting carbs on hand, because if you inject large amount of insulin, like 10 or 20 units or something, after training, and you don't have enough carbs in your system, you will go into a low sugar, hypoglycemic coma. And people have died from this. They have died. There's been bodybuilders who actually passed out driving and got in car accidents. Some of them have crashed and died on the way home from the gym because they had that low blood sugar just hit them all at once from the insulin. Just a bunch of thumbs up. Great. Thank you. Papando. I don't think the disease can get much bigger. Even with all the advancements in the world, the body can't handle more pharmaceutical. The only thing I could see is if they ever really figure out myostatin inhibition, and we could get people looking like those bulls, those myostatin, the Belgian blues. But that would have to be something done in the womb. I don't foresee that as being something that can be done to someone who's already, past puberty, someone who's an adult human, a fully developed human. I think maybe that they could bioengineer people to look like that, which would be horrific. But so they'd basically be creating a lab, these people, I guess, these myostatin mutations. But yeah, I don't know how much bigger human beings can get. I don't think they can get much bigger. Sebum has done gene editing, reversed all his diseases, especially the kidney one recently. Science is upon us. I've never even heard of gene editing, so that just shows you, man. I'm behind on all the latest medical marvels that they've introduced, the innovations. Kalyan Krishna, Sarang, how are you? Thanks for doing this. Thank you for joining in. Appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping by. Weren't you a pro on professional muscle? No, I was never on professional muscle. No. Yeah, I saw people arguing about what constitutes a pro bodybuilder. Obviously, when I hear pro bodybuilder, it means, yes, you do have to have a pro card. But I've seen them say that about some people who made a good living at the sport, and were very well respected and popular. And like John Meadows, before he turned pro, I considered John Meadows a pro bodybuilder, even though he didn't have an IFBB pro card. But to me, John Meadows was more of a pro than some random guy who won the over 45 Classic B class at the Junior Masters Classic B at the Junior Nationals in North America. Something, you know what I'm saying? Someone who you'll never hear much about. But no, I was never on professional muscle. I don't think I ever even looked at that site. Do I think Raphael can defeat Nick or Hunter? No, I don't think so. Not yet. He still needs to be a little bit bigger. Melvin Mungo Jr., thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Two-shot around now. Why is there more emphasis on glutes and hamstring of Andrew when Mr. Olympia Derek does a single strikes on chest, shoulder, not spine, arms? Yeah, it doesn't seem fair, does it? It doesn't seem fair. Let's look at the Derek versus Andrew comparison, shall we? Take the comments off so you see the glutes. Yeah, from the back, Derek's condition is phenomenal. Striated glutes, back is very, very detailed. He lacks that in his front poses, which we'll see in a second. I just happen to have this clip loaded from when I did the power hour with Giles the other day. Thanks to all those of you who watched that. Yeah, this is where he gets people. This is where Derek really gets people, these back shots. When they say Mr. Olympia's won from the back, Derek won that last Olympia from the back. There's no doubt in my mind. And Dorian used to crush people from the back. Look at that. So wide. So thick and dense. But yeah, I don't see a lot of striations, separations in his chest, in his arms, and his shoulders. Especially, this is Mr. Olympia. I'd like to see that. I saw areas on Cutler back in the day where he didn't have great separation striation either. And it was the arms, the shoulders. There's a lot of similarities in areas that were and weren't defined. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. I really hear what you're saying. I think Olympia, Brazil. Okay, let's take that off. Let's get rid of that. How do I get rid of that? Oh, like so. Okay. Back to your questions and comments. What do I think about the Olympia, Brazil? I think it's great that they're putting out another pro show and there's more opportunity for money. There are several divisions missing. There is no open bodybuilding at the Olympia, Brazil. It seems like it was a pretty hastily put together show. But Tamer does so many shows. He's so well versed at promoting shows and putting them together. It doesn't surprise me he was able to come up with something on fairly short notice. So yeah, there's no open bodybuilding at the Olympia, Brazil. There's no figure. There's no women's physique, and they're missing another one. I think they might be missing women's bodybuilding. Not really sure. But yeah, I think it's a great anything that's more shows and more opportunities for the fans to get out there live and see their favorite athletes, and more opportunities for the athletes to travel and make money and meet new fans. It's a good thing. It's a great thing. Brady Curry, Martin Raphael, Tony William. Which work? These guys 6'10". Oh boy. Oh, you don't have Hunter you have Hunter in the top 5, I guess. You have Hunter beating Brandon. That hasn't happened. I don't think Hunter's ever beaten Brandon yet. So if he beats him this year, that'd be unprecedented. That'd be a new thing. Martin. Based on what's happened in the past, I'd have Brandon ahead of all these guys. So if we're assuming that he's not in the top 5, and I'm not assuming that, I would go Brandon. I think Tonio is going to do well this year. I could see Tonio in 7th. I know that Raphael beat Tonio in Brazil. I think Tonio is capable of beating Raphael for sure. I don't think they were that far apart. I think you could have flipped a coin on those two guys. So I'd probably go Brandon, Tonio, Raphael, William too. Geez, that's rough, man. That's rough. I'm pushing out of that question. I'll be there all day trying to figure it out. Happy Slave, Andrew Katsinek, Heidi and Samson on quad poses. Structure has no wow factor. Let's look at Hadi and Samson on the quad poses. Let's take a look. Hadi, Andrew, side chest, side try. Oh, all right, here we go. Yeah, I'll look at those thighs on those quads on Hadi. They are just ridiculous. Samson does have pretty damn good quads. I mean, Andrew, but they're not at this level. Hadi has freaky quads. Just crazy deep separations, crazy outer sweep, just about as developed as a quadricep can be. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see him losing that. But you were saying Samson too. Samson on quad poses. Let's look at those two again. I think I got in trouble because it wasn't the last version. It wasn't the 2024 Texas version that I showed. Samson, and let's look at Samson versus Andrew again. Okay. Starts with it's going to go into the Aventine, guys. So from the side, Samson's thicker. Sam's got better hams. Oh, it's the same shot. Why'd you go back to the same shot? Okay, here we go. Yeah, I mean, Samson does have better sweep to his quads for sure. I suspect he wasn't all the way into the pose here because I know his cuts, they're not that blurry on his legs. I don't think he was all the way into the pose. Oh, wait, he's moving now. Yeah, see, there you go. There you go. That's more like it. Yeah. Yeah, I'd give Samson the quads over Andrew. It's going to be very tough between those two. They're both phenomenal in their own way. And even though they do have similarities, they're very different physiques. Samson is a thicker, fuller version for sure. Andrew's not as Andrew would need another 10, 15 pounds to match Samson on size. He's not quite there yet. I know you're going to talk about body weight, but they're both up toward 300 pounds, these guys. They're both big guys. Well, this is Andrew versus Brandon. Oh, so I got to go back to Andrew versus Samson. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for the judges when they're trying to figure out, especially if Samson shows up sharper than we've ever seen him, which could happen. He's also made a post saying, was it him that made the post? I don't know, that he could be the first Mr. Olympia winner with a female coach, which is his wife. His wife's going to coach him for the Olympia, Marlena. And yeah, that would be something brand new. It would be a changing of the guard. We've never had there have been women coaches like Steve Kuklow's coach. I'm sorry, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. But it's a pro, it's a woman, a female pro. She's been his prep coach for the last few years. She does a great job with Steve. Steve, who I think he's retired. I think he's all done. He's done quite a bit in the sport already. Yeah, those two are going to be tough to call. Very tough to call. Oh boy. Let's see. You can't say hottie. You know, I'm a big fan. Just an FYI, your image was up there. Pro Ron. Well, that's not me, Pro Ron. My image, my picture? Holy crap. Well, that's definitely not me. Professional Muscle it was like a message board, right? Was it something you had to subscribe to, or I think you had to have approval to be membership. It was like a secret board because it was a lot of gear talk. I think you had to pay to belong to it, right? I'm not sure, but that's definitely not me. I'm not well versed enough in PED use to give like advice to advanced people. I can give basic advice, but no, I'm not someone who should be on Professional Muscle talking about gear. Thanks, Beyond Marcus. That is definitely not me. I've never posted on that board or website, whatever it is. Who's the best bodybuilding coach? Well, Kalyan, these names you mentioned, Chad Honey, Chris Aceto, you have Matt Jansen, George Farah, Milo Sarshev. There's a bunch of them, but if you want, it's hard to say because they each have their own roster of champions. If you want to define it as Mr. Olympia wins, that's one metric. Hani Rambod has the most winners out of anybody. I think he's got 24 Olympia wins in various divisions. So, yeah, he would be the best one. I don't think any one coach is better than all the others. I think they're all very good at what they do. They all know nutrition. They all know PEDs. They all have a great eye for physique and have that knack, that instinct for knowing how to adjust macros, calories, switch out different foods, different PEDs, more cardio, less cardio, more intensity in the training or cardio, less. All these guys are experts at that. They've got years, decades of experience. So I wouldn't say any one of them are far and away better. If you're just going to go by something as easy to put a number on as Mr. Olympia wins, Olympia wins, period, it's Hani Rambod. He also has the most Mr. Olympia wins. Derek didn't deserve his last two placings. A blind man could see it. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a sport. It's a sport where it's judged subjectively. And not everyone is going to have the same opinions. Some people think Hadi should always win. Some people think Derek should always win. I sometimes I'll be looking at play-by-play or watch-alongs or something. There'll be a guy who ends up taking 10th in a contest, and there'll be a few people in the comments saying this is the guy that should win. To them, that's the best physique up there, and who's to say they're wrong? I want to see together Hadi, Nick, and Samson. Oh, you'll see it. Don't worry, Catherine. You will see that comparison, no doubt in my mind. Ah, yes, you're right. Rolly Winkler had a female coach. He beat everyone. He didn't win the Olympia, though. We've never had a Mr. Olympia, but you're right. Grandma, the hell is Grandma's name? Sylvia. I call her Grandma. I know she has Sybil Peters. Sybil. Yes, you're right. She was a very prominent coach. She worked with Rolly primarily. I think she worked with his brother Quincy. I don't know who else she worked with. I think she had other pros and a lot of amateurs in the Netherlands, especially, but I don't think any of them were really well known. But you're right. Good call on that, Happy Slave. Jackson training video, he looks insane. Oh, well, time to take a look. Is that on Instagram? Maybe. Let's take a look at Derek. How's Derek looking? I haven't looked at his Instagram in like a week at least. Let's go to Derek Lunsford. My man. All right. Let's check out Derek Lunsford. Mr. Olympia. How's Mr. Olympia looking at a little under 8 weeks out from the big shoe? Okay. Stories. Release. Okay, so the pinned ones are never recent. Okay, this was posted yesterday, it looks like. Yesterday late morning. Yeah, he's thick as hell. He's had a whole year to improve. He's had a full off season, which not every bodybuilder gets, because he didn't have to qualify. Didn't have to do any other shows. Obviously, he's the Olympia champ. Anybody who's only the top 3 didn't have to qualify. Yet, second and third place, Hadi and Samson still went and qualified this year anyway at the Arnold USA in UK. That's an old shot. That was last year. Yeah, obviously, his win. So that's how he looked 10 months ago. We're getting close, guys. It's less than 2 months away now. So this was also posted. This was posted a little less than a week ago. That's that famous MI40 gym in Tampa, owned by Ben Pekulski. And this is where everybody poses. That must be the sweet spot with the greatest lighting. Look at that back. Look at that rear lat spread. That reminds me of Dorian. So wide, so thick, top to bottom, side to side. Lats are so low, they insert all the way down to his hips. Yeah, he's looking crazy. This is less. So this was almost 9 weeks out. Imagine 9 weeks further conditioning on that. That's just a lat spread. Okay, all right, so this is a little bit of training. You probably wanted me to go to his YouTube video. I'm just going to his Instagram. Easier that way. Some rack deads. Probably got like 5 plates on there or something. Moving it like butter, as Jose would say. Oh, Friday night ticket. Here he is jumping the pool. Okay. All right. Yeah. How long ago was this? It was 2 weeks ago. There is a honey. Yeah. Look at these. That's how his glutes looked at 10 weeks out from the show. So conditioning, he's almost where he needs to be. He doesn't need to get a lot leaner than this. They can really just fine tune and get more and more detailed. This is where we want to see more detail. I think even here, I'm seeing a little difference, a little bit more detail and separation in the shoulders, the chest, the arms. Keep in mind, this is at 10 weeks out. We're looking 10 weeks out. He's going to be a lot sharper than that. Super strong. 80 kilograms. So 80 kilograms is like 170s, 170-pound dumbbells. Something like that. 165, 170. That's crazy. That's a lot of weight. This was also at 10 weeks out. Yeah, we'll look at Hadi too. It's only fair. So that was 10 weeks out from defending his title. Go to how Hadi's looking. How's Hadi looking? Is this the deadlift that Nick Trigili was very upset about because he was bouncing the weights? I think so. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 plates aside, 8 plates. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if these are 45s, this is 585 pounds. This is the final. It looks like he says it was his last exercise of the day. At the end of the training, show strength. At the beginning of every training, everyone has strength until the end, be strong. So yeah, this was his last exercise. He's pulling a 6-plate deadlift, bouncing it off the bottom, sort of eliminating that bottom position, which is more, I'd say it's more of a leg movement anyway. Let's see some posing. I don't want to see him eating. So that was 10 weeks out. We had just seen Derek at 10 weeks out. He's very close to condition he needs to be in as well, as I would expect. You know, these are the elite. This is a Mr. Olympia champion. This is our reigning Arnold Classic champion. He could very well get his title back. I wouldn't count him out for a minute. And yeah, I love all those striations across the chest. He's got a better chest than Derek, and he's definitely got better detail in the chest. Yeah, look at that. 10 weeks out. Oh, what did I do there? Yeah, that was 16 weeks out. Boy, that was way back. Way back when. This was 2 weeks ago. This was 10 weeks out. Yeah, no doubt in my mind, he's going to be in phenomenal condition. Phenomenal. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if he can get his title back. It's going to be very interesting to see if Derek can hold on to his title, or could we have someone get past him? Could it be Andrew? Could it be Samson? Could it be Nick Walker? Could it be Hunter? Could it be Brandon Curry getting his title back after five years since he's won it? Imagine that. Yeah. How crazy would that be, huh? Be pretty crazy. All right. Let's go back to what you guys are saying. This is are you going all the way to 12th? You got Hadi winning, Tushar. Andrew in second. Derek, Derek drops down to third. Samson in fourth. Nick in fifth. Hunter, 6. Martin, 7. Brandon, 8. I like Martin. I like his physique a lot. I don't know if he's beating all these guys. I don't know. I see him more like 10th. Sorry, Martin. It's nothing personal. I'm talking physiques, and he's a young guy. He still has all the potential. I just don't know if he's ready yet to get past some of these veterans that I see you guys that you have him ahead of. Brandon, Raphael, Akeem down 12th, 11th, Tonio. Tonio's been 10th. He's been top 10 before. Was he 8th? Actually, I think he was 8th, wasn't he? Interesting top 10. Catherine says, Derek needs to retire. He's like 31 years old, 32. He just won Mr. Olympia. Why is he going to retire? If you don't like his physique, I get that. You know, a lot of people feel that way about certain people. That whatever reason, there's one physique that they just do not like, do not care for. Like Giles doesn't like. It's nothing personal. Giles doesn't like Nick Walker's physique. It's just not his cup of tea. You know, we're all free to have our own opinion, have our own favorites, and like who you want to like. Chris Gutierrez, what's up, North Carolina? It's a good picture I took with you at the Arnold Classic. Nick Walker won. So that would have been, he won it twice. Hasn't he won it twice? The first one, maybe? I don't know. It was a while. Thank you for keeping the picture. Greetings from Mexico, amigo. Gracias por mirando. Venia, that's coming. Muchas gracias. Let's leave it at that. Thank you. Goku Luffy, John Jewett, Mo Foda. John, let's see order for these guys 11th, 15th. Wow. Oh, yeah, Jewett's qualified too. Theo. John De La Rosa. Oh, boy. Mo's conditioning issue. as far as physiques, the physiques and how I feel about them, I'd probably go in this group. I'd probably go Mo, John with an H, John with no H, and then Theo. Yeah, not a fan of Mr. Jericho. I should take him this year. Hey, you like who you like. Nothing wrong with that. That's having a master's in exercise science, specific strength, to become a bodybuilding coach, nutritionist. No, Kalyan, it's practical experience seems to be far more relevant and important when it comes to athletes choosing coaches. They want to see your track record. They want to talk to clients that you've worked with. Obviously, if you have a bunch of champions that you've helped win, you've taken people, especially if you've been able to take people from lower placings to higher placings, if you've turned a bunch of people pro, if you've taken people who were, mediocre pros, second call out guys, and you turn them into A-list pros. That's what it's all about. It's results. It's proven. It's a track record more so than book learning or, I don't want to downplay education or degrees or anything like those things are all great. In the sport of bodybuilding, the athletes don't care about that. They don't. They want to know, because there are plenty of people out there who have all the book smarts in the world. They know what works on paper and they can quote studies and they have stacks of medical journals and things like that, but they don't have any practical real world experience. That's what really matters. Can you get people in shape? Have you gotten people in shape? They don't care if you've got this degree or that diploma on your wall. That doesn't help them out. If I was hiring a coach, I wouldn't give a crap if they've never had a formal education or not. Most of these people are self-taught. I mean, Chad Nichols was a police officer before he became a prep coach. Chris Aceto went to school, I think, for nutrition. He does have an educational background in it. Chris Tuttle does as well. He's a registered dietitian. Farah, up until more recent years, I don't think he had studied for that field of practice. Hani did go to school for, I think it was biochemistry. But it was what he did with that knowledge and how he practiced it for years on athletes that made him the coach he is today. Yeah, honestly, Kellyanne, I don't think it would carry much clout with the athletes, to be honest with you. Especially exercise science and strength conditioning. That would probably be more beneficial if you're trying to get a position as like an athletic coach or a strength and conditioning coach for maybe a professional sports team or something like that. But bodybuilders, they don't really care. They don't care. Olympia predictions coming out. Well, I'm going to do a bunch of Olympia prediction show with different people, so I'm not going to go there yet. He said, how do you like top 5 out of 6 out of every much Olympia? Where would you rank them? Man, we've had a lot of Olympia champions. I don't think it's fair to. How can you compare like Hadi Chupin to Larry Scott, the first Mr. Olympia, or Sergio Oliva, or even Arnold? Guys we're talking, this is the 60th anniversary. We're talking 50, 60 years ago. There have been so many advancements. The physiques, they don't look anything like they used to look. Training has changed a lot. Nutrition has changed a lot. The drugs, the PEDs have changed drastically. It's become a whole other realm, a whole other area that these guys in the past barely knew anything about. And they didn't need coaches because it was so basic and simple. There was only a few different drugs that were used. Their diets were very, very basic and simple, and things have gotten much more complicated over the last, 20, 30 years, especially. So I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can say Hadi's one of the greatest in Olympias. The only thing you can really go by is wins, because what other, you could say Ronnie and Lee Haney are the 2 greatest Mr. Olympias because they're the only 2 who've won it 8 times. After that, you got Phil Heath and Arnold with 7 wins. Dorian is after that with 6 wins. And after that, you have Jay had 4. Frank Zane had 3. And then you have a bunch of 2-time winners and a lot of 1-time winners. YMM has Andrew winning, Hadi 2nd, Nick 3rd, Derek drops all the way down to 4th, Hunter in 5th, and Martin Fitzwater in 6th. Guys, it's great. I like to see so many different opinions here. Hadi's triceps frontal biceps look good to me. What do you think? Let's see. Now I got to go back and find it. Is he going to hit it here? I'm going to his Instagram here. Let's go to his. So it's triceps and the frontal bicep. That's what we want to look, because it's an arm pose. Let's see what he's got pinned. Got any good pictures pinned where you're doing a frontal bicep? Well, there we go. It's his arms are so full and round. They don't have like a real round drop to them, but they're massive. He's got really good arms. There you go. Yeah. I could see what you mean, that, ideally, if we could make the perfect bodybuilder and we could do any, like Photoshop, I would give him a little more round sweep, lower sweep on the tris. They do have a little bit of sweep down. It's not like straight across, like mine are just like straight across. It's horrible. But yeah, because then you look at like an Andrew Jacked or something in a front double bicep. You'll see what I mean in a second. So let's go to AJ, because AJ had that really good picture of Andrew. AJ Kelly Robert, great page. I'm going to him because he had that. I know he had that posted, that picture of that famous picture of Samson. Jeez, how far back do I have to go? Quite a bit. Boy, oh boy. I think I picked the wrong Instagram, guys. Oh man, we'll never find it now. I give up. Let's go. I'll go to Andrews. I'll go to Andrews again. Andrew Jacked. I just want to see his frontal bicep. That's all I want to see. Yeah. Stand to the bicep. We're rambling all over the place, guys. That's how the lives go. We end up all over the place. At what temperature do I broil anabolic chicken weight style? Boy, I don't. Who does anyone even remember where that phrase came from? Anabolic chicken. Somebody came up with it. I wish I had come up with that. I think that's one of the funniest things in the world. Because just to recap for those who don't know what I'm talking about, you don't see it as much now, but for a good 10 years or so, everybody wanted to go to Kuwait. Everybody wanted to be a guest of Oxygen Gym Kuwait owner Badr Budai, because he would pay for these guys, fly them out there. They would stay at apartment complex across the street from Oxygen Gym. He paid for, obviously it's all paid for. This is all expenses paid. They were basically in bodybuilding boot camp. They would work with the trainers and coaches that he had. He had Abdullah, who just left, I think, from being their head coach. Who's the other? Ahmad Asghar. They call him the general. So they had two main coaches there, and then they had some trainers. A guy named Kimo is one of the trainers. So you would work with their staff. They would train you. Every meal was supervised, delivered to you fresh, and they would provide PDs. I mean, it's never been stated. No one's ever come out and said, yes, they gave me the drug, but I've heard people say it in like read between the lines kind of ways, that they obviously are going to provide all the PDs for you while you're there, and it's unlimited expense. So if you're a guy on a budget back home and you can't afford to use more than 3 IUs of growth hormone a day, and you can't take more than maybe 200 milligrams of Primo a week, now you're over there. You could do 20 IUs of growth a day if you want. You could take a gram of Primo a week, a gram of test. Everything's paid for. So people used to ask, what's the secret? How are these guys? And the joke was, it's the anabolic chicken. And they were really saying, it's crazy. They got the best drugs in the world over there. It's all free. You forgot Samson. Oh, here we go. So a revised top 8 from moi. Andrew, Hadi, Samson, Nick, Derek, Akeem Williams, Hunter, Martin. Wow. Samson winning. You know what? Oh, you forgot Samson. So he's in third. He got third again. But this time Andrew wins in this scenario. It's like an alternate timeline. If any of you guys watch the Umbrella Academy, there's like, it's all these different timelines that they're always jumping back and forth in. Big thanks to Kalyan Krishna. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. It's tough on YouTube with a smaller channel, very tough. And I appreciate that so much, Kalyan. That is awesome. Thank you so much. So take my time. Academic qualifications. Yeah, like I said, Kalyan, you can get those and use those to get a quote unquote real job, like working with a professional sports team or something else like that on a university staff, something. You could take those degrees and translate them into a real job. And then you could always do the coaching on the side, and you can use that knowledge and the fact that you do have those degrees to sort of bolster your credibility as you build your credibility as a coach. And the only way to do that would really be to get a track record of athletes that you've made improvements for. The before and afters are the most powerful things coaches can put up, because visually, this is what someone came to me looking like. This is what I had him or her looking like 8 weeks later, 6 months later, a year later. And if people see that you're able to transform physiques, because really that's all a coach is supposed to, that's their main job. I hate to say that health isn't their main concern, but it's really not. No coach should be being reckless and putting people at danger knowingly, but they should tell people these are the risks. You could do some harm to yourself if you proceed with this protocol, but if you want the greatest possible results, you might want to take this chance. It's up to you. And as an adult, they're free to say yes or no. I'm not comfortable doing that, or let's do it. So people blame the coaches, but these are adults hiring the coaches. They're the ones who need to ask questions and take accountability for their own health. Look up, if he says, I want you taking this and you don't know what it is, do some research on it. Find out what are the side effects, what are doses used in clinical settings, what have other bodybuilders used for doses, just to put everything in the hands of a coach. And I understand that's the main attraction of having a coach, is that you don't have to think about anything. You just get a plan from them and you execute it. Here's the diet I'm going to follow. If they give me my workout, I'm going to do this workout today. I'm going to eat this food today. I'm going to do this much cardio. Here's my PED protocol. I inject this today. I take this pill today at that time. It's great to be able to just execute a plan. That's what a lot of elite athletes do in different sports. They do what the coach tells them without thinking about it. But as bodybuilders, when we're using these compounds, these PEDs, these drugs that were never designed to be used for the purposes that bodybuilders use them for, it is the responsibility of the athlete to know what they're taking and to look into it a little bit, and not just rely on a coach, and put all their trust and faith in a coach that this guy or girl has my health 100% in mind. Because some of them, I know this is going to sound like a very cavalier, a very bad attitude to have, but their main goal is to get you to win. It's not to keep you healthy. It's, you hired me to win the show. You gave me $5,000 or whatever to prep you for this Olympia, this Arnold, this Tampa, whatever show it is, whatever show. And that's my job, is to get you in the best shape possible, big and full and ripped, give you the best possible chance of winning. And then it's up to fate, who else shows up. It's up to what the judges think. But you did everything as a coach with that athlete to get them in that shape, the best shape possible, so they have the best possible chance of winning. What Derek has over everyone is he has the freshest, cleanest muscle. Everyone else says something funky. Yeah, they were giving him a lot of crap last year for he had like a ball. It looked like a little abscess or something in one of his lats. It wasn't really noticeable. I mean, look at I'm going to put this up again. I'm going to put up the posing. The only stuff I have loaded with Derek is from that Olympia, is that footage from the Olympia. Actually, we could just go to his Instagram. What are we talking about? He's got posing on his Instagram. Yeah, because the thing about Derek that I don't think everyone really appreciates, is how new he is to this. Yeah. Derek turned pro in 2017, and I don't think he started competing until 2013 or 14, maybe it was. He had been a welterweight at the USA in 2016. I think he was top 5. Came back as a light heavyweight in 2017 and won the overall. But I don't think he had been training that long. I think he had been training for something like 5 or 6 years, seriously, when he turned pro. That's it. That's not a long time. Here was the moment of truth last year when it was announced, you're new. Can I put it up? And Honey's like, screw that. Damn it. Son of a bitch. Olympia theme song. There's Tyler. There's Jake Wood. Dan Solomon. And Manny. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, so Derek he's not only young, but he really has a lot less training than most of these guys. Years of training behind him compared to most of these guys at the Olympia up on stage with him. He has been training a lot less time. He's competing less time. He's getting better. And I still think he needs more muscle maturity from the front. I'm not impressed with the separation that we see in certain areas. That's the hero pose. I want to see more in the chest, the shoulders, and the arms. I want to see a lot more detail and separation, striation. And then I think he's going to be an even better athlete. These are great shots. Are these all Will Whitman shots, I wonder? Pro Fitness Photos. I think that's Chris Nichols. Chris Nichols took all these shots. So, yeah, Derek's a work in progress. He's a young guy. I think he's 31, 32. He can't be that much older than that. These are all the shots I already showed you. Yeah. Good stuff, Derek. Good stuff. All right. Let's go back. Let's see. Pack qualification, acting professional. Yeah, it's true. Very true, Kalyan. I think there's a lot of people that get these degrees and so forth, and all they do is write articles for journals so they can get tenure as a professor. And I don't think much of their knowledge ever gets put to practical application and use, which is a shame. Any knowledge that's not shared and used to benefit somebody else or society in general, what's the point? Should plan to move to the U.S., study master PhD in exercise for hypertrophy. Cal State Northridge. Yeah, that was the epicenter of the big earthquake they had when I was living there. I lived in the LA area for almost 10 years. January 91, and I left in October of 2000. And we had a huge earthquake. I think it was they called it the Northridge earthquake. And I think it was 90, was it 92? It was right. It was the same night as the USA, I think. And I think it was the night that Flex, was it the year Flex won or was it the year after when Cormier won? But I remember my building, I lived in an apartment building at the time, and the pool had like waves going back and forth in it. And the ground, it felt like there was like you were standing on quicksand. It was crazy. Yeah, that's great that you're getting an advanced education, Kalyan. Yeah, we need more. I'm not going to immigration, but we need immigrants like you who are highly educated and productive. And oh no, now I'm talking about immigration. All right. Adi says he's got Hadi in first, Andrew Jack second. That would be a huge leap for Andrew because he was fifth place last year. Third place, Nick. Nick's been third before. Again, poor Derek drops all the way down to fourth. Whew. A lot of you guys see Derek dropping way down. You really think he's going to drop from first? I don't think he's going to, if he doesn't win, I don't see him doing worse than second. I don't. This year. But maybe. Alberto Montejo, they discovered blood thinners treat cobra venom. Top 10 killer. Cobra venom is one of the top 10 killers in tropical countries? What? Are there that many cobras running around biting people? I didn't realize it was that big of a problem. When I was a kid, there was this animated special that used to come on once a year. Remember, we had to wait for things to come on TV. There was no videotapes yet. There was no streaming services, no cable TV, none of that. Ricky Tikki Tavi, it was called. It was about a mongoose who was fighting these evil cobras. He was trying to protect this little boy in India from these cobras that want to bite him or kill him. I can't remember. I haven't seen it in like, 45 years. Happy Slave, the sport is not so subjective compared to win the Olympia on one pose. I wouldn't say he won on one pose. I think Hadi had him on some of the front poses. It was very close. I would have had no problem with Hadi winning last year. They were so close. You could flip a coin. I would have been very happy and very satisfied for Hadi. And I think you could make the argument for Derek too. I mean, there was no uproar. Well, I mean, there was a lot of fans of Hadi's that were pretty upset. Obviously, they managed to get Derek's Instagram shut down by complaining to Instagram about him because they were so upset. But I think it was so close. They both have attributes that the other one lacks, and it's really a matter of preference. I smell gay for pay. No, I don't think there's any at this level. I don't think the guys are doing gay for pay. I like the Andrew video you and Charles did. Thank you, S. McGee. I got some flack because the first video I did show, which I think was Brandon versus Samson. I think that's the first one I showed. It wasn't Samson. I'm sorry, Andrew, not Samson. Andrew. It was not the 2024 Texas version of Andrew. And I took all those videos. I didn't do any of those editing, guys. So we're talking about like these ones. These side-by-side comparison videos. I grabbed these all off YouTube. These are things other guys did. I took like 5 of them and broke them up into sections. And so I didn't make any of these videos. And I hope I wasn't seeming like I was taking credit for them, but that wasn't the one. I think it was. I'm going to try to show you the one that people are complaining that this guy was complaining about, because I don't think it was the Brandon Curry. Yeah, I think it was this one. Yeah, was it? Okay, so he's number 1 there. What number was he there? Yeah, so that's right. He was like competitor number like 352 or something in 2024. This was a different year. This was I think it was 2023 Texas. I don't even know, but it wasn't this year. And I don't even know which Brandon this was. I don't know if this was, I don't know what years these were, but it's still, even if it's not the correct years, it still gives you a good idea of how the physiques stack up, because Andrew's a little bigger than this now. There's no doubt. And I've seen Brandon sharpen this, but their physiques don't look dramatically different. You can still make a good general comparison between the two physiques, even though these aren't quote unquote the right years. If that makes any sense. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Not mistaken, you're originally from Massachusetts. Yeah, I'm still in Massachusetts. I'm in South Shore area. We always say Boston because if I say Stoughton, everyone's like, huh? The town I'm in is called Stoughton. It's where Craig Titus and Kelly Ryan were apprehended by the FBI years ago after they were on the run for murder. What else is it famous for? We just had a kid named Frederick who was on the U.S. Olympic gymnastic teams. I can't remember Frederick's last name. Frederick is from Stoughton. We've had some other ones. Paul Tremblay, the writer who wrote Knock at the Cabin, which has been made into a great movie with Dave Bautista, is from Stoughton. It's a small town. It's like 24,000 people. We have like civilization. We have gas stations, supermarkets, and gyms and all that, but it's not like a thriving metropolis. So yeah, I've been here. I lived in California. I went to school 1 year there, and then I stayed for the summer in Venice. So I lived 1 year out in California back in 87 to 88. Went back to Massachusetts and did my next 3 years of school. Came back in January 91 to California, stayed till 2000, the fall. And I got here on October 30th, 2000. I got back to Massachusetts. I've been here ever since. Yeah. Long story. Wish Heidi could be more conditioned. It would have been a lock. Well, we got it coming up again. That's a great thing. He gets another chance, And I could definitely see Hottie being the second Mr. Olympia in history to ever get his title back, which has so far only been done once by Jay Cutler, who lost again. Jay lost in 2008 to Dexter Jackson. He came back and got it back in 2009. Every other Mr. Olympia prior to that and after that who had come back, who had lost the title and tried to get it back, they never got it back again. They always play second, third, fourth, fifth. Sometimes they didn't even make top 15. Like I remember Samir came back a few times. Didn't even look like he prepared right. And he ended up like 15th or something, which for Mr. Olympia winner, that's yikes. Happy Slave says, Derek had no calves, no abs. How can he be champ? I would say he has no abs. His calves aren't awesome. No calves. Does he have no abs? I don't know about that. Now you got to make me look. Now I got to see if he's got any calves or abs. We can't see the calves there. So he gets off easy. Let's look at the back shot of him. Is there any posing here? Let's see if there's any posing. No, it's not posing. I mean, I've heard every Mr. Olympia winner has had people that didn't agree that guy represented Mr. Olympia. Like, like Dexter didn't have great calves. People say, how could he win with no calves? So no calves and abs. I wouldn't say that's no calves. It's pretty good calves. They're not spectacular. Can't see the abs there. Where can we see the abs? He's got abs. I know we need to see like the abdominal and thigh shot to really see what's going on there. What else we got for him? We're going way back in history with some of these ones. America. See, this is what he has, that great vacuum that he can pull. It's just a very pretty physique. It's very aesthetically pleasing. I would like to see more of a, he's not going to have a bicep peak. That's a genetic thing. Derek does not have a great bicep peak. That's genetic. Some guys do. This was, how far back was this? I don't know. This looks like backstage at, was this last year's Olympia? It just says backstage moments. I'm assuming this was last year when he won. He's running through some poses here. I haven't been backstage at the Olympia since like 1993. Maybe. Yeah, nobody ever hits an ab and thigh shot for like when they're just having fun posing. Yeah, I mean, every Mr. Olympia, like I said, has had people that really didn't feel they were a great representation of what the best physique in the world should be, and that they shouldn't be Mr. Olympia. But I don't think you can. I don't think you can look at that and say he's got no abs. I mean, Samson's got pretty crap abs. Samson has very shallow ab development compared to the top guys. Yeah. What do I want to show you guys? I'm not going to do I guess I'm not going to do the Alien Romulus movie review today. I didn't have that much to say about it anyway. It was good. It wasn't great. All right. Let's go back. Let's go back to the comments. Andrew, 5% more muscle, 5%. Yeah, Renee, I think that's why I said in the very beginning of this, over an hour ago now, he's the guy I see with the potential to possibly get the title and hold on to it for a while. Hold on to it for 4 or 5, 6 times, maybe more, because he has something nobody else has. That height, that shape, that structure. It's a very unique look. He doesn't look like anybody else. So keep your eye on him. He's only been a pro. This is only his 3rd pro season. You realize that. 2022, he won the Arnold Amateur in Ohio in the spring. That was his pro card. Goes and wins Texas Pro in August. Goes to his first Olympia. I think he was 7th or 8th. He was sick as a dog. He popped up again 2023, did the Arnold. Got 3rd to Samson, to Nick and Samson. And Samson and Nick, I'm sorry. Samson and Nick, and then him was 3rd. Won the Texas again, goes to Olympia, gets 5th. So he hasn't done that many pro shows. He's still pretty new on the scene. Derek was way more sick when we won 212. It looks like he maxed out his frame. Yeah, I mean, he can't get any bigger without starting to look just like the Michelin Man. He's just going to be so stacked with muscle. He's got so much muscle for I think he's about 5'6". Derek has no ab shot. He's got beautiful shape, though. Beautiful shape. I think Hadi beats him on all the front poses, personally. Hadi Chupon. Side-by-side stuff's not accurate. Yeah, you're going by different photographers and videographers with different lighting situations. And that's why we say nothing matters until you're there and you're seeing it up close in real life. That's when you say, okay, now I can compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. Same lighting, same show, everything. You're comparing somebody maybe on their worst day to someone else on their best day. And there's so many factors that can mess that up. Only back poses. It's always the same distance to each person at a camera. No, it's not. I mean, some of the thing about these press pits, I still call it a press pit. The media area, usually the NPC, the photographers, the official governing body, those people, they get the best seats. They're front and center, which obviously they're going to get those. Other photographers have to fight for position. So sometimes they're off to the side a little bit. So they have a little bit of an angle. Sometimes they're a row back from the other guys or a couple rows back. All that makes a difference. It's your vantage point, gives you a slightly different perspective. So, and these shows do all have different lighting too. It's hard to compare lighting from one show to another because they are all different. Grand Animal, Andrew's waist is wider, not as sharp as conditioning is bad. Andrew's waist is wider. No, you think his waist got wider? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now we're gonna have to show him again. Dude. Well, so let's go to his Instagram. Actually had better posing footage. Was this it? No, this was it. Yeah, let's go there. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. We've been doing this for a while. All right, so this is what we call the Gilco footage. Actually, this was actually taken by Chris Nicholas as well. But very nice, crisp 4K footage. I don't think his waist got bigger. People were saying his obliques are hanging out. I think he's going to be tighter. He was 288. I think he's going to come down a few pounds for the Olympia. He's got 8 weeks to sharpen up. I think we're going to see that waist tighten up a little bit more. But he did put on at least 10 pounds of new muscle, somewhere between 10 and 15 pounds of muscle since the last year's Olympia. And I don't think the waist got bigger. I don't. Maybe the obliques are a touch bigger. Maybe. I think it's wide as hell. He can pull it off because look how wide he is across the back. His shoulders and upper back are just so wide. Look at that V taper. Look at that. That's crazy. And, he's a taller guy. He's the lines and the aesthetics, the flow is just phenomenal. Yeah. Interesting. All right, we got to wrap it up. Poor dog. Sadly wrong about both. Guys are arguing. Craig Kelly, this was just shattering in the realm body and shook everyone. Yeah, Kellyanne, but you know what? I wasn't surprised because I had known Craig for years. I knew he had a horrible temper. He had a tendency toward violence. He got into fights, like fist fights at Gold's Gym Venice a few times. He threatened me a couple times, literally threatened me, like with beatings. So when I didn't hear Craig that they were charged with murder, Craig and Kelly, that they were on the run. I heard pro bodybuilder sought for murder, and I thought, I bet it was Craig Titus. And, a few minutes later, I got a text message. Someone said, hey, they're looking for Craig. I'm like, figures it's Craig. You're wrong. Guys are arguing with each other. That's okay. Put up a poll, Randy. Posing around still judge Olympia? No. But it is judged at the Arnold Classic events, interestingly enough, because Arnold has his name on the show and he can do whatever he wants. It's Arnold's show. And he decided a couple years ago he wanted to bring back scoring at the posing round. And it's scored. It is. But I've heard arguments for and against the posing round being judged. One being if the physique, Ciccarello says it's how well you display your physique. But if somebody's got a great physique, but they're a terrible poser, another guy's got a horrible physique, but he's a great poser, does the guy who's a great poser beat the other guy in the posing round? Or is it you sort of have to find a balance between how well they are showing their physique and how good the physique is? I would be very confused. For me, I would just make it a whole other category of how well you're presenting your physique. How good a poser are you? And then that's your actual physique is only judged against the other guys. In the posing round, if I was just judging it in my imaginary bodybuilding federation, the posing round would just be how good of a poser are you? How well do you display your physique? How smooth are your transitions? How well do you lock in your mandatories and showcase your physique? That's how I would do it. Yeah, Andrew's the definition of Mr. Olympia. A lot of people feel that way. Derek didn't have much detail in the front shots, but dummy some back shots. Yeah. I hope he doesn't get any bigger. I hope he doesn't. He's big enough now. If he gets any bigger, it's just going to start like, I don't know. It's going to look ridiculous. It's going to look silly. How much Andrew weighs? He still looks stringy. Yikes. I think he does need like another 10 pounds, Grandy Adamo. He doesn't look thick like some of these guys. But a lot of people say, why should Mr. Olympia just have to look like a toad, just like a ball of muscle? Why can't he have size that's spread out over a larger frame? A lot of people prefer that, the look that Andrew has, to the look that like a Walker, a Lunsford, or Chupin has, the shorter, squattier, thicker guys. Because this is it's more artistic looking and I say this as a shorter guy. I'm 5'7.5". I'm so impressed when I see someone like a Samson with these longer limbs, or an Andrew, where the muscles, round muscle belly, small joints, great V taper, nice quad sweep. It's very impressive. Last year's Olympia was Heidi and Derek extremely close to each other. Decision could have gone either ways. At the end of the night, it went to Derek. Yeah, like I said, I had no idea what was going to happen. It was so close. It looks like an athlete compared to Stumpy Dwarf. See, it's a matter of opinion. You're not wrong. He's not wrong. You have different opinions. Spell the tall, insecure little boy. Yeah, a lot of the tall guys, they call shorter guys midgets and stuff. And that's not cool, guys. I mean, we don't have a word to use for you tall guys. So it's not fair. What are we going to call you? You're tall. That doesn't sound bad. You're a skyscraper. No, that doesn't sound bad either. Shit. What are we going to say? You're a giraffe? There's nothing where you guys could say dwarf, midget, troll, whatever. You have all kinds of options. Okay, old little man, I'm 6'2". No insecurities here. Andrew's like 293. So supposedly by the time he got on stage for finals, he was down to 288. I don't think he needs to be much lighter than that. Like 3 or 4 pounds, somewhere around 284, 285. My guess is where he'd be, just bang on, sharp as hell, big and full. That's what I'd like to see. What's up, brother? What's up, Kevin? You're calling people names because your mouth's short and way. It's insecure. Ron, do you feel Tabani's being overlooked? No, he's not. He just can't get over here. I mean, he's won some shows. If they were overlooking him, he wouldn't be winning any shows. He doesn't get overlooked. He just can't get a visa to the USA, unfortunately. I feel he needs to get a sponsor in the USA, a supplement company to sponsor him so he can get some sort of work visa where technically he's an employee of, whatever, Joe Blow's Nutrition, and they can do the paperwork with the embassy and all that. So he's our employee. He's coming over to represent us at this big competition. That's the only way I see him getting over here. Andrew was so good he made the home state boy Hunter book a flight to Italy. Well, Hunter was there. He just didn't compete. Yeah, a lot of people think Hunter skipped out. I actually haven't watched the latest podcast. Hani Rambod did one with Hunter. I have to watch that and to see if that came up, if it was done after. I don't know if they recorded that before or after Texas. They should bring back the point system with just one extra slot. Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Yeah, I see some guys that these last few shows, and I can't think off the top of my head, but there were guys who were taking second and third in multiple shows, and they weren't going to get to the Olympia because there's no point system. You have to win a show. It was only benefiting. It only got 2 extra guys into the show every year. It wasn't like it was making the show go on all night. The reason the show went on so long is because we had so many people qualified from winning shows in other divisions. Like we had 60 guys in Classic a couple of years ago. We had 60 in men's physique. We had like 50 or 60 in bikini, 50 or 60 in figure because there were that many shows throughout the year for those divisions. Open bodybuilding never has more than like 30 shows at the most. At the most. Usually it's less than that. So we didn't have that problem where open bodybuilding was just way too crowded. A couple of years ago, we did have the all-time high. I think it was 28. Or was it 32? It was like 28, I think we had, had beat it by just 1. Typically, the Olympia has around 20 guys in it, typically. There have been years where it's been less, and there have been some years where it's been more. But that 2 years ago was, I think, the high point. Thank you for being Sarah Pay Show. You're very welcome. And thank you for that $100, man. Everything really helps. As I'm trying to grow this channel, it's not easy. I'm up against some amazing competition, guys like Nick Strength and Power, many other channels, Coach Greg Doucette, all these other channels that have millions of subscribers. And I'm still a little guy in the YouTube world, so I appreciate it so much. What about Hadi? Oh, you have Hadi, Andrew, Samson, Derek. That'd be interesting. All right, guys. Wow, we've been doing this for an hour and a half, so I'm going to say goodbye. Appreciate you guys watching so much. Appreciate it. And we go back to that banner. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, and ring that bell. It doesn't cost you anything. It really helps me out. Follow me on Instagram, Ron Harris Muscle. It's all Ron Harris Muscle. I try to keep it all the same so you know where to find me. That's it, guys. I thank you so much for watching. Joining me on a Sunday afternoon here, or maybe it's evening, maybe it's morning, wherever you are. I don't know, but it's a Sunday or maybe it's a Monday. I will see you guys very soon again. I'm looking to do some really big name interviews soon on this channel. So keep your eyes out for that, and all your favorite shows come up. We'll do another Dr. T soon, a Power Hour with Giles. Love those shows. Love doing it with my boy Giles. He's not a boy, he's a man. Anything last one? All right, man. So that's it, guys. Appreciate you watching so much. I'll see you right here next time. Peace.